So I'm not sure if you've seen it yet or not, but Steven Crowder came out with his latest Change My Mind. He went to a college campus, and the Change My Mind was rape culture is a myth, change my mind. It's about, I think it's about 40 minutes long or whatever. Anyway, one of the first people who sat down with him was this college co-ed who was, there's no better word than to say hysterical. She was hysterical from the moment she sat down to the moment she left. I think she actually left in tears and ranting and screaming and squawking because she just couldn't believe his position. Now the position is that rape culture is a myth, and by rape culture he defines it as a society that tolerates, accepts, or even approves of rape. And he's going based on, you know, the media definition, the academic definition, and the hypothesis put forward by many is that the United States is a rape culture. In particular, college campuses are a rape culture. And after watching this first interviewee, I couldn't help but think, wow, I totally understand MGTOW. See, the thing is, they really need to define or redefine or reterm it. It's not that there's a rape culture on campus. There's a hookup culture, casual sex culture. There's a transactional sex culture. It's difficult for both men and women of college age because people have been fed this idea that men and women are equal. There's no differences between them. And while legally that's the case, they have all the same rights on paper, on the laws, on the books. Their behavior will have to be different because evolutionarily they're different. They have different evolutionary drives. And so while women have adopted this idea that they can engage in casual transactional sex with a male partner and not have it affect them psychologically, not have it, you know, prey on their insecurities and the whole bit, and walk away from it without ever feeling, you know, any least bit of remorse or regret. And it plays tricks on their minds, you know. I think I just did a non sequitur there, but it plays tricks on their minds because while they've been fed this idea and they've been operating under this idea, psychologically speaking, that's not how it is. And sex has never been that way. Sex is an intimate act. You are exposing yourself to somebody at great risk to yourself. And it should really be done on the basis of trust and respect. I sound like an old fuddy-duddy, but it's true. Casual hookups, while they might be fun in the you know, immediate, they're no way to have a healthy relationship. And I believe that when they talk about rape culture, they include in that the idea that if a girl is drunk when she has sex, she couldn't legally consent because she wasn't in the right frame of mind, therefore it was rape. Or if a girl ever felt uncomfortable during sex, and uncomfortable just could mean that the guy's a sloppy lover, or you know, is clearly more interested in getting his rocks off than getting her rocks off, And so that might turn her off a bit. So if she's ever uncomfortable during sex, it was rape. If she regrets doing it, if by the light of day she realizes this is not the type of person I ever would have had sex with under normal circumstances, he bamboozled me. I've seen this argument in papers that and online. If a guy beds a girl under false pretenses, like he lies about his income, or he lies about his status within a company, or he lies about himself being something that he's not, she would never have consented to have sex with him had she known that he was just a barista at Starbucks. And that's rape. So when they talk about rape culture, a lot of times I think that's what they're thinking. And again, back to the psychology of it. I think the reason this woman was so hysterical, and this is just a theory, is she had a casual sex encounter with somebody. And it was one of these scenarios where she was either uncomfortable during the act, where she was drunk, or where he misrepresented himself. He lied and said, hey, I want to be your boyfriend, and then he didn't call her the next day. And then she got convinced by her professors that that was indeed rape. And that's why she was screaming that, there's not 1,000 people here, and many of them have been raped. She can't possibly know that, but when Crowder cited the statistic, it's 1 in 1,000 rapes on college campus, 1 in 1,900 rapes in the general populace, or general populace. It's like, there aren't 1,000 people here, and I guarantee you some of these people have been raped. Well, she can't possibly know that, but she's using her anecdote. Maybe she was genuinely raped. Like, guy pops out of the bushes, or guy slips something in her drink. But nonetheless, she's hysterical. And I think, again, this comes back to women being fed this idea that they can engage in this kind of behavior the same way that men are wont to behave because of men's evolutionary instinct to sow their seed as wide and as far as they can. And when they realize that it's not what they thought it was, it messes with their head. They become regretful, they become resentful, they become depressed, ashamed, and they need to attach that to something. They need to blame something other than themselves, because they're so invested, they're so possessed of their ideology of men and women are not only equal but exactly the same, and can do exactly the same things, and are wired to do exactly the same things. And they're so possessed of this ideology, they can never actually look at themselves and look at their inner behavior and say, hey, maybe this hookup culture isn't for me. I really do want a serious relationship. I really do want to have an emotional connection with somebody before I get into bed with them. And I mean, eventually I think they do. Eventually they wake up and go, this is all bullshit, and it's not making me happy, and I should, think about my actions. But some don't, and some perpetually blame the patriarchy, blame society, blame a guy for being inconsiderate in bed. And I think it might be turning around. I think it might be going to a place where maybe people become more mature and less casual when it comes to intimacy. But anyway, kind of a boring one today. Sorry, I didn't get too heated, but I just wanted to relay my thoughts on the ladder with Crowder video. If you haven't seen it, I'll link it in the description. It's worth watching. His Change My Minds are always really, really entertaining. This one was no different. Would have been nice if there had been more people sitting down, but you know, you get what you get. Anyway, thanks very much. I'm at work, and I will talk to you all soon, and take care.